But what are you saying, and what are the other things that you need to know about? Well, let's get into the trending conversations. And of course, Anne joins me to walk through all of those major talking points. Anne?
Yes, indeed. And, yesterday, was it Monday, when we're talking about what has happened to the minimum wage? No one is talking about it, and we expected, okay, maybe this week something would definitely happen. But anyway, before we get to that, I guess we'll get to Kenya.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been days of protests in Kenya. And yesterday, at least 5 protesters were shot dead by the police in Kenya. And the section of parliament actually went up in flames as demonstrations against new tax proposals escalated. So an angry crowd breaking through police lines to storm parliament in the capital, Nairobi, before setting parts of it ablaze. In an address just late last night, President William Ruto said that all means will be deployed to thwart any attempts by those he described as dangerous criminals to undermine the security and stability of Kenya. He's also deployed the military to quell the protests. So what are you saying, really? We'll get you more information about what's playing out in Kenya, absolutely. But let's get into the realm of social media. And, well, take a look at what's being talked about.
The first one is, of course, about the minimum wage, FEC stepping down the minimum wage memo for consultations. And let's hear from your show plug. It says that this is of great importance as workers' purchasing power has been greatly impacted negatively. Well, they need to speed up the process or open the borders for food items to come in at cheaper rates.
It's quite interesting how what's playing out across countries are quite linked. But take a look at what Who I Am 1759 says, and X says, what was the essence then of the tripartite committee? Stepping down in this language implies what exactly? That's another question. This is long overdue, the Caesar says, and politics is still overshadowing it.
You know, we talked about how politics is always infused in so many other things, but Viva says that the uproar has subsided, so they can step it down for now.
Just a moment, and it looks like we'll be heading to Kenya very soon, just to give you updates about what's playing out in Kenya. You just seen Teresia Gitau, who's a journalist live in Nairobi, Kenya. So we'll be giving you, well, bit by bit, account of what exactly is playing out in Kenya. I haven't seen that violent protest yesterday, and a lot of people are saying, is this reminiscent of the NSAS protest we saw in Nigeria?
I mean, it looks almost something similar too, because they faced what a lot of people also faced during the NSAS protest of 2020. They have claimed they have witnessed killings. They have already, I mean, they've recorded deaths already at that event, sad event. But we'll head to Kenya, as you said, and find out more details about that event.
So let's speak with Teresia Gitau. She's a journalist in Kenya, joins us live on the program this morning. Well, good morning, Teresia. Welcome to the Morning Brief. I mean, we're watching here from Nigeria, and we're definitely concerned, we're worried, seeing that young people have been killed as a result of these demonstrations. But just a little background for those who are wondering, is this another NSAS protest that played out in Nigeria? What exactly is this about in Kenya? Tess, what exactly is playing out?
So just to give a brief, I don't want to equate it to SARS that happened in Nigeria. But what I would like to put across is it's the anti-tax protest, and the protest is against the Finance Bill 2024, and the Finance Bill here in Kenya. What happened, it's a framework that dictates how the government is going to collect and also spend money. So the biggest challenge, as we see with the Financial Bill 2024, is that with the youth who are behind all these protests, they're feeling that there's a disconnect when you're being told there is high taxation that is needed while the government officials are living lavishly and also brandishing the money, yet there are few opportunities here in the country.
So speak to us about what this finance bill is about. I understand that young people are now translating it in different languages so people can understand. So what exactly is the grouse? Is it taxing something that people say should not be taxed? Yes, there's the accountability part and transparency where people say, well, we need to see government also living up to the billing. But what are the details of that finance bill that has irked a lot of young people in Kenya?
Okay. So looking at the finance bill, it's a bill that dictates for the financial year that is supposed to start in July of 2024 to 2025. And looking at some of the details of it is, with this, there is going to be an increase in taxation, especially the digital tax. We see during the last financial year, there was a 15% increase with the digital content creators. So there's going to be an additional increase. We're looking at a reintroduction of value-added tax in the sanitary towels and also the diapers, with which looking at the online community saying that, is it a crime for a woman to have their menstrual cycle? Is it going to be possible for women also to also bear children? Because as the diapers increases, people tend now to start thinking, what about our future? We are looking at also the land rights. When we come to Kenya, when it comes to matters of inheritance, people inherit land and we pay a little bit of tax each and every year. But when it comes to now listing, it brings a bit of an issue because it's something that they're wondering, why are we being excessively taxed on such kind of matters? And when you look at in the finance bill, you find that also there's going to be some money that is not being explained what is going to be happening, like around $800 million, 800 million shillings that is confidential. So what is this confidential that you're talking about? There's going to be money that is going to the spouses of the first lady and also spouses of the second lady. And the question is it absolutely necessary to have some of this? And now the goal is to collect $2.7 billion for this financial year. And people are wondering, are we going to have it? Is it even possible to have it? Looking at the debt, which is now at 68% of the GDP, and the World Bank requires, or rather recommends, that it be at most at 55%.
Well, Teresia, the first response to things like this will be people saying, no, we do not want this, which has resulted to these days of protest. Today will be the biggest day of that protest. Do you think that your message, what you are trying to put out, is being heard by members of government?
From what we have seen, yes, it's being heard, but you find that with the presidential address that was made yesterday night, the feeling that has been there throughout the night has been, the hashtag that we are going to meet on Thursday. So that means Tupatane Thursday. And that is bringing this situation of, uncertainty, because, with the Gen Zs and the young people in the country, they're actually trying to make fun of it. And it's not only something that has been happening in Nairobi, it's something that has been happening throughout the country, and finding that the members of parliament who voted yes, some of their properties, some of their offices, the county assemblies have been brought down by fire. So yes, they have had us. And as you can see, the president has said he's going to put measures, yet with the measures that he's trying to put in place, and especially calling on the military, it has been said, and I quote, the Constitution of Kenya, Section 241, Clause 3, that says that he actually needs the county assembly to approve the deployment of the Kenya Defence Force, which has not been done yet. So his deployment of the military is deemed unconstitutional.
Quite a lot, really, because we saw lootings yesterday, members of parliament affected, businesses linked to them, their offices were also torched. We saw people looting. It's a lot of chaos, but as you said, the president has called in the defense forces. Whether or not that is constitutional is another thing entirely, but some say, what options does he have anyway? Because he's calling or describing some of these people as criminals. Former president, whom he worked under, has also released a statement where he asked him to, or his government, to talk to the people, not at the people. So speak to us about the sense today, this morning? Is there some sort of calm? Do you see the defense forces on the streets? Because we understand that there might be protests today and the biggest one tomorrow. So what is the current state this morning? And then the death toll, what are the figures that we have?
So as we look at the death toll right now, currently, we are speaking about over 10 people dead. The Kenyatta National Hospital, which is the level 5 hospital here in Kenya, reported as per yesterday night that they had taken in at least 40 injured people. As to the situation today, yes, today it's a day where the youth are planning to go to the police headquarters, that is the Department of Criminal Investigation, at least to request for the other youths who have been abducted mysteriously. And also, as we see yesterday night, the head of judiciary, Madam Kome, actually came out and said that it is unconstitutional for people to be abducted without their lawyers and also without being taken to court. So the feel on the ground is, as part of the Kenyan citizens will be marching to the DCI headquarters to ask to have more youth to be released, those who have been abducted, but also they're going to go to the judiciary to try and stop this unconstitutional move by the president, so that at least people will be able to march tomorrow peacefully, because the demonstrations have been peaceful and there has been a chance that we are peaceful. That has come across. But of course, throughout the protest, we find that there are people who are goons who are trying to loot. And yes, there were damages that have occurred throughout the CBD, that is in Nairobi.
Right. I mean, we all know Nairobi to be a beautiful city, and we do hope that that stays the same. But young people, I see there's a lot of excitement. They're trying to take the destiny of the nation, just by the horn and say, this is something we did. But we wish you the very best, and we ask that you please stay safe. We'll get back to you soon enough for more updates. We've been speaking with Teresia Gitau. She's a journalist in Nairobi, Kenya, joining us live for an update on the situation there.